Our Target 8 investigators are staying on the case, raising questions now about the treatment of 2 inmates who died after suffering seizures in the Muskegon County Jail. The Sheriff's Department continues to investigate the death of Tiffany Davis, a mother of 3. She was the second inmate to die at the jail in a year. New at 6 o'clock, Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker talks with Davis's cellmate, who says she begged the jail to take her to the hospital.
The autopsy report shows that Tiffany Davis died of multiple hemorrhages to her brain, brought on by an infection, a condition she had suffered for days while locked up here at the Muskegon County Jail. Davis's cellmate at the Muskegon County Jail told Target 8 that she was with her when the symptoms started on February 18th. First a bad headache, then vomiting, then seizures. She says she begged a jail nurse to send Davis to the hospital that day. The jail sent her the next afternoon. Davis was pronounced brain dead 2 days after that. The ER doctor has told Target 8 that he would have had a better chance to save her had the jail brought her sooner.
The lady assured me, I said, "Are you taking her to a hospital?" She says, "We can take care of this." She goes, I said, "Well, are you taking her to the hospital?" She goes, "She's going to be just fine."
Davis's mother also told Target 8 that she asked the jail to send her to the hospital that day.
My daughter would be alive today. My daughter would be alive today.
These people didn't care at all. I mean, they were laughing and joking, and this woman suffered. Unbelievably suffered.
The autopsy report confirmed that Davis had complained of headaches, nausea, vomiting, involuntary movements, and photophobia, or intolerance to light, on February the 18th. It also found she had no illegal drugs in her system. The report also shows her fever reached 100.4 degrees.
She felt like she was burning up.
Sheriff Michael Poland operates the jail, which has a 5-year, $6.7 million contract with Tennessee-based WellPath for medical care. That company has faced 1,400 federal lawsuits over deaths and allegations of poor care at jails across the country. The Michigan Attorney General is still investigating the April 2019 death of 39-year-old Paul Bolthouse in response to a Target 8 investigation that found he had suffered 17 seizures in a close observation cell at the Muskegon County Jail. The sheriff told Target 8 that 2 WellPath nurses, one involved in the Bolthouse case and another in the Davis case, no longer work at the jail. But he says a Michigan Sheriff's Association investigation found his jail guards acted appropriately in their treatment of Bolthouse.
We went through time by time, and when the guards were doing their rounds, and checked that, and they were doing what they were supposed to do. The guards were.
He said the guard who watched one of Bolthouse's seizures before walking away was placed on leave until an investigation cleared him, finding that he had reported it to the medical unit.
The person he reported it to in there, that medical department, did not respond back to that cell at that time.
And that should have happened.
Absolutely.
With a close observation cell, you would think more than just one of 17 seizures would have been observed. I mean, that's what most people would think. It's close observation. Maybe that's.
No, I'm with you on there.
He says he plans to install a second set of monitors at the guard station to make it easier to watch inmates. The Sheriff's Association is still investigating Davis's death. Davis had a short history of minor crimes and was locked up for violating probation. She and Carrie Smith, who was locked up on a drug charge, were cellmates for 2 months.
We got very close. Yeah. Very, very close.
The cellmate says Davis first complained of a headache early on February 18th.
She said, "Bunky, do you have some Tylenol?" She goes, "My head is pounding."
Then she says it got worse, moaning when the lights were turned on for breakfast.
At this time, she wasn't even able to get up off of her bunk.
The cellmate told Target 8 she hit the cell's emergency button repeatedly that day, sometimes with delayed responses. Once, she says, a nurse gave Davis a glass of water while a guard stood by.
Tiffany was shaking, and he goes, "Oh, shaking, that's a nice touch."
Later, after Davis started vomiting, she says guards told her cellmate that there was no room in the jail's medical unit. Instead, she says she stayed with her in the 6 by 8 foot room, splashed with vomit.
At this point, I know that it's just me and her, and I'm trying everything. I moved her bunk to the floor. I was trying massages. I tried all kinds of things to try to ease the pain. She was in so much pain.
Still that morning, the cellmate says she got Davis into the shower in their cell to cool off.
She fell into my arms. I literally fell into my arms, collapsed, and went completely unconscious.
The guard, she says, led Davis to the medical unit.
She could not even hold her head up. I mean, this was bad, and they were sitting there rolling their eyes, looking at each other, rolling their eyes like she's faking it.
The autopsy report shows that Davis was returned to her cell several hours later, where her cellmate says she suffered yet another seizure. That, she says, is when guards led Davis to the medical unit for the last time. Jail medical staff told the medical examiner investigator that her vital signs were close to normal the next day, though she still complained of nausea, dizziness, and a headache. The jail called for an ambulance at 3 that afternoon after medical staff noticed a quote-unquote declined nonverbal response. She was brain dead 2 days later on February 21st, but was kept alive to donate her organs. Her official date of death was February 24th. The sheriff blamed Davis for not complaining sooner.
I think if she shared some information with us about how she was feeling earlier on, we probably could have got her to the hospital sooner.
He said he's confident in his jail to care for inmates.
The dollars are being spent, the medications are being given out, those things are happening.
As for the cellmate, she says that 3 detectives have interviewed her about the death. She has also spoken to the Davis's family attorney.
Never, ever going to let this go. Ever. This was a beautiful woman. I got to know her very, very well. She did not deserve to die. Oh my God, nobody deserves to die like that.
The attorney representing the Paul Balthouse family is now representing the family of Tiffany Davis. He says that he has yet to file lawsuits, but that he is working on them. In Muskegon, I'm targeted investigator Ken Kolker.
WellPath, the Tennessee-based company that has paid millions to provide health care at the jail, would not comment about the nurses no longer working there, saying they don't comment publicly about personnel matters.